All right, welcome to Boom Roasted. We are having a part 2/3 of our last conversation with Alana's parents, who were missionaries to Africa and to America. And but before we do that, I'm finishing up my hot chocolate that your mom made for me. I'm not letting you guys have coffee; it's too late for you because
I wouldn't stay up anyways.
But we've had some great coffee this week. So we have traveled from our hometown all the way to where we are now, and we have stopped at many places. What's been your favorite?
Definitely cabin coffee. We've had it so many times. It was just like a staple. Like we had to come back here and drink cabin coffee.
And what was your favorite kind of coffee?
I've been kind of on a kick for a caramel and vanilla latte recently, but not cold, hot. So that's what I've been drinking a lot. I like the latte foam a lot, so that's what I've been on.
Well, you know that I like it like super duper strong, so it's bell ringer for me.
Double shot
of espresso and regular coffee with a little bit of sweet and some half and half. And Alana says she doesn't drink coffee, so we're going to ignore that because this show has been roasted. Duh. So respect the roast, Alana.
I'm sorry.
So these guys have both been missionary kids and have grown up in missionary work, really. So I know Alana is 18 years old, and you were how old when you first started going?
I was 5 and I turned 6 in Africa.
Okay, so that's when she first had her experience in the mission field. And Nelson, you were?
I was 5 when you guys started your ministry, but I was 7 when I started going.
So, and you've been where all, Alana?
I went to Mozambique for about 3 months. Then we went to South Africa, and then we went to Norway.
Okay.
And then we went back to Hawaii.
Okay. And then you've been all over the United States.
Yes.
Doing work everywhere. And Nelson, for you, where have you been?
I've been to Trinidad and Tobago and El Salvador, and then I've been to too many, or not countries, states to count.
Yeah.
So
this has been life.
Basically.
So I know there's a lot of fun stories, Alana. You'll have to share some that you're comfortable with sharing. But before Nelson started going on mission work with us, he wanted to go so bad. And Pastor Ali wanted him to go, the pastor we work with in Trinidad. He was really advocating for it. And Nelson told me, he said, I know I can help you, Mom. I can help you raise money. Now, this is 5-6-year-old Nelson. And one day he wanted to take these little bracelets we were selling to go on a mission trip. And I completely forgot that we gave them to him. He's sitting in the back seat of the car after we picked him up from school. And I heard him back there counting. And he was counting big numbers. I was like, what are you doing? I was like, Nelson, what are you counting? He's like, oh, I'm counting all the money I made from the bracelets. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, and I got some more money coming in. The kid had raised $100 selling these $1 bracelets at school. And I knew it wasn't going to be long before we were going to have to take him. So we took him on a Christmas trip when he was 7 years old to Trinidad, and now he goes all the time, right? Mm-hmm. So tell me, Alana, any great stories? Tell me what your favorite thing was about Africa when you first went. What did that look like for you?
Honestly, I just like the simplicity of it all.
Yeah.
It's a different world than living here.
Yeah.
For sure. For instance, I'll share the story of my birthday, my 6th birthday there. So while we were in Africa, we ate the same meal every single day for 3 months because that's what was provided. It was rice and beans for lunch. Dinner would alternate between a couple things, including this weird spinach dish that went over rice, more rice and beans, rice and fish. And I mean, the fish was literally just a whole fish, eyeballs and everything, completely black. It was interesting.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
I mean, I do love fish. I don't necessarily want to see the eyes.
Yeah, no, it was just whole fish. And breakfast with bread rolls. Mm. But anyways, for my birthday, my main gift that I got from my family was a can of tuna. That was it, just a plain can of tuna. And honestly, I still remember getting the can of tuna. I don't remember any of the other gifts that I've gotten throughout my birthdays.
That's
it
incredible.
just keeps rolling. But when you're on the mission field, things just stand out to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 6 and I still remember it. Like,
Yeah.
I can't recall random facts that happen nowadays because we're just fed so much entertainment and just mindless things. But like there, it's like every single thing counts.
Yeah. Just felt more intentional.
Yes, just felt real. It wasn't fake. It was like just real.
Yeah.
It's honestly the best way that I could describe it.
Yeah, a can of tuna for your birthday. That is definitely memorable.
Yeah,
for sure.
and then I got tuna and rice, and you would have thought that I won the lottery. I was so happy, like beyond words, just so happy.
Yeah.
And then that night, we had these huge like woven like hammock kind of things. Each house had it in our little family compound, and we pulled them all together. And this one family had brought their computer, and they were the only ones that had any like electronics. Everybody else, like no technology, because everything would be stolen, and it just wasn't practical because half the time the power would be out. Anyways, they brought their computer out, and we watched Ice Age. Once again, you would have thought that all of us kids won $1 million. And I think that was the beautiful thing, is being there, even though it was my birthday. Like nowadays, like in this world, like especially in the United States, it's always like me. But like through that, it ended up being a bigger blessing just for all the families, just being able to get together and just laugh and bundle up in blankets and just spread out and watch a movie that I'm sure everybody's seen 100 times. Like, but it just made it special because it was just such a like treat. Whereas nowadays, like, watching TV is just normal. Like that's just an everyday part of life. But on the mission field, it was so special. But like, I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm actually happy that we didn't get to watch TV the entire time, because it made it so I got to live like real life.
Don't you think it helps you with relationships too?
Oh, definitely, 100%.
Because you're not getting sucked into all the things that you're going to do, and you yourself being entertained. Like, so most of your entertainment is relationships.
Yes. For example, me and my mother actually would get these little decks of cards. We still have them. I mean, little tiny. It was Old Maid, Go Fish, and I think Crazy Eights. Like, they were these little Disney cards. And we would go underneath these magnolia trees, just the two of us. And it was honestly just some of the best memories that I have with her.
That's
and
so
we
cool.
just play cards and like,
yeah,
just talk and enjoy life, explain different things that have happened to us. And it was just honestly really, really great. And then too, like even when we were there, like you wouldn't think that children would be a part of it, but like me being there, like it actually grew me, even though I was just 6 years old.
Yeah.
I helped act in a play that we did for different people. And then also too, when we were going into these different communities that like had never seen white people before, even like a lot of the people were actually really terrified of the grown-ups. But I would go out and I would be surrounded by all these kids. I loved it. Apparently I love the attention. I'm shocked. I'm like, really? Me loving attention? My family's like, yes. Yes.
It was totally, well, I think Nelson's had some similar experience as far as like the community goes there. Nelson, when you go on these mission trips, what is something that like when you come back into the culture here, you're like, man, really miss that?
Well, I think like a big difference at the same time too is like Alana actually lived on the mission field. I never did. I was there for 2 weeks. I had a set plan, a set job to do. Not a job almost, but a privilege to do. So I would say like the difference from culture is also, our lifestyles are so much different to where TV really is, like she said, like, I mean, it's just a part of a daily life at this point. Like, if I'm eating, I'm watching TV half the time. It's just something that has gotten into a routine that should be gotten to a routine, but still at the same end of the day, we haven't really done anything to change it.
Yeah.
So I think that part also, but the food, of course, like big food guy here. I think the food definitely like matters at some point because you're eating all curry and everything, but then like my dad always says, like I can always want a cheeseburger when I get back home. So it's like I think that like really differentiates.
Don't you think too though that the fact like the food aspect is like it's great because we're getting to try all these different foods, but it's like it's so communal. Like whatever they eat together there, that's something we really love about the church and the communal aspect of that. Like everybody brings something, and it's always like
It's more than enough too.
Right. And I think that that's something that we've asked before is like, why do you guys always come together? Because it's like they're always together at the church, and it's kind of like what we would say like a community center or something. But everybody brings the little that they have to share, and then it's like this whole table of food, and then you can tell they just enjoy that time together with something so simple. It's this person brings rice and this person brings beans and or whatever it is, and everything's curry there. But it's just that communal aspect. And isn't that something that you feel like you miss when you come home?
Definitely, because it feels like sometimes, not just us as a family, but like, I have work, dad has work, you have work. Feels like we get to be together, of course, but in that aspect, like, we're all together 24/7.
Yeah.
We're so close in a bus packed full of meant for 12, but there's 20 of us in there somehow, or
Always.
people on laps and stuff like that. So it's like being so packed together, and then you go home and it's like, oh, back to our separate ways. And it's like it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah. But it's hard to make that transition
It is
back into the United States whenever you come back, isn't it?
because the people are just so much nicer down there too. Like Alana said, like when she was like a kid, like they like treated her, I would say almost like a king. It's like how I feel like when I first got down there, because this like
It's really because you're the abnormal thing.
right, yeah. So it's like in America, it's just normal for us to be walking around, but when you go to these third world countries, everything, and they see you, they're like, "Oh, you're different." Like,
Yeah, you're the different
why
one.
are you different? Oh,
Yeah.
well, So I think that aspect in it all of just being, and as a kid, that bluffs you up. Like, you're like, "Oh, they're cooking this for me." Like, they ain't cooking it for you; they're cooking it for me, and it's like, "Oh, they want to be with me, not you." So it's like you can't be prideful in that situation either. So you have to, I mean, as a young kid, like pride doesn't really exist at some point. You think you're the highest, the hottest, whatever it is. But when you turn into a teenager and you get into your teenage years, like it takes a toll because you're like, okay, now I got to be the person to influence them and to show them the light of Jesus while you're in there because you're so focused on them influencing you when you're younger. So now you have to make that transition of I have to be the person or that God wants me to be to show them to
Well, you just take
because
more
I'm here for a reason.
Yeah, could you take more responsibility for it then as you
Right?
transition
Yeah,
into that?
especially because you're the older age, and I mean I'm not the maturest guy, but
Really?
I'll try to be the best I can when I'm down there.
Well, I think too, Alana, I know you have experienced a lot of like seeing miracles and just crazy things happen. Tell me like an experience you had there and like how did that like change your faith now?
I think honestly, not even just like a single experience, but just knowing that God's like always there for you. And I think also a big thing is like even when bad things happen, like he's still there. Like the way I see it, it's like honestly, like having a father and stuff. Sometimes you're gonna trip and fall, but the beautiful thing about God is that He's always there to pick you back up again. Like yeah, you're still gonna trip because that's just your kids. Like
Yeah.
if you have your own kids and stuff, like yeah, sometimes they get hurt, but like you're always willing to like put a band-aid on it. And I feel like just being in the world, like just where you have to rely on God. I think that's the big thing is that in the United States, there's just so many things that we could easily do. We could go to the doctor, like even living in a small town, we have a hospital 10 minutes away. Like there, it's like, oh no, something happened. Well, let's go to the village witch doctor. Maybe he could like cook me up a potion. Like it's not that easy.
Or have faith. Like that's your only choices.
Yes, like it really just changes your perspective like of things. And then too, just knowing that he's always there for you and that he's always going to provide for you.
Yeah.
And he's always going to feed you and he's going to like keep you safe even when like hard things happen because like yeah, it wasn't always easy, but at the same time he did protect us.
Yeah.
For instance, like when we were in our compound, like at night you could actually hear the village witch doctors like chanting around you and like casting spells. But like even in those times like where they meant to do us harm, like we were okay. Like just because we believed in God, like we were okay.
And you witnessed that. And I think that that's part of that growing of your faith. You're like witnessing that. Like, how many friends do you have that sit around saying, "Hey, do you remember when that witch doctor was like walking around our house?" Like, you're probably the only one that has that story,
Yes.
and that's crazy. But that's the things that you witnessed that the Lord allowed you to see, because there's something about that He wants you to carry into the world, and something about that builds your personal faith. And even though you didn't have the chance to say yes to it because your parents made that choice for you, but they made that choice saying yes to the Lord, and because of that, it's changed who you are.
And too, I think it's important, like, I would say yes. Like, even now that I'm 18 and like could make my own decisions, if I could go back having like knowing what I know now, I would
You would still
100
say
times
yes.
over still go.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, I would move to Africa literally like tomorrow
Yeah.
if I could. Like,
and you may have to. He may
yes,
call you to that. Who
yes.
knows? But the fact that you're willing, says a lot about it. What about you, Nelson? Like, as far as like, you didn't, even though you felt like you wanted to go to Trinidad whenever we went, because I think just because you thought we were having more fun than you when it first started.
That's probably
Nelson
what it
has a
was.
big case of like fear of missing out, but
Mhm.
but him going, like, I was thinking about that first trip you took. Do you remember the little dog?
Yeah,
The little
I
stuffed
do.
dog. So tell that story.
There's this kid in the church that has a disability where he can't talk right and his body just doesn't grow right. And so I had this little dog. It was like a little wiener dog stuffed animals. I was obsessed with that when I was a kid, like just stuffed animals in general. And one of my mom's friends gave it to me. I held on to it. She was like, "Just keep it with you in Trinidad, and this is your safe buddy or whatever." So I held on to it. I held on to it. Well, this little boy was like loved it. Like he like always wanted to hold it. So I brought it to church one day. I was like, "Here, you can have it for the day." It's like, "I'll take it back at the end of the day." So he gave it right back at the end of the day. But it like calmed him down in a sense. And I remember going back to the house and looking at mom, and I was just like, I feel the need to give that kid, like, mama, I want to give this kid this. Like, I feel that. And I never, of course, at this time, I'm 7 years old. I haven't really felt the love of Jesus. Like, I can feel the love of Jesus, but I
You
never.
didn't really know what it was.
Right, yeah, I didn't understand it. I couldn't comprehend it. So the next time we went and saw, I was like, I want you to have this. And to this day, that kid still has the wiener dog. And it still helps him. And I mean, I can't do math right now, but it's been a little bit.
Your mathing's not mathing?
It's not mathing right now.
Well, I think that you were learning even in those early years, like it felt like a small thing, but to a little kid, like giving up a special toy to them was a big deal. But you've seen that it brought joy to someone else, and you heard from the Lord.
The
And
yes.
yeah, and I think that's the part that's so important, that you were learning to hear from the Lord. Because I remember asking you, because you said, "I think God wants me to." Like, you weren't exactly sure, but you felt it. You were feeling that tug even in those early years, and I think that's did a lot to build your faith, because, and even like for both of you guys, like, it costs a ton of money to do these trips. It takes a lot of money just to live, like, especially for you, Alana, where you guys were living full time on the mission field. Like, that was your job. Those are your parents' jobs, but it wasn't a paying gig. And, like, you had to completely rely on people's generosity and people hearing from the Lord too, to give, and your gardens to grow, like your mom was saying. And Nelson, like, on these trips, like, we've done a ton of fundraisers, but we've watched God do huge things. Like, because I think what happens a lot of times is people get so focused on the money that they use that as an excuse not to go, but then they miss out on like the things that you guys have seen, because God wants to provide for that.
I also think it's really important, like, when going on the mission field, like, I know so many times people go, like, thinking, like, oh, it's going to be great. Like, I'm going to live the exact same way that I do now. Like, I think it's also just really important to remember, like, you're living a different life. Like,
Yeah.
it's different. It's going to be hard at times.
Yeah.
But then also, too, like, I just remember, like, being happy all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really remember ever being upset. And even though, like, yeah, maybe we couldn't go to the grocery store with like any kind of food we wanted. Like, I was never hungry. And I think too, just being willing to adapt to the culture that you're in is definitely really big on being accepted into the culture. Because it's like that
Agreed.
with anything. If you
Yeah.
come in being like, I'm better than you, like, I don't want your food. Like, no, like that's disgusting. Like, a lot of times it's like very insulting to those
Sure.
people because when they're sharing their food with you, they could be giving you like what to them is a feast and to us seems such a small thing, but that's like all their food for a week.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's beautiful how generous like some of these people could be.
Absolutely.
I think a big thing too is when you're in the most uncomfortable situations, because Christianity is supposed to be uncomfortable. Like, there's never should be a spot in our ministry and everything that we're comfortable. Because when we get comfortable, we become saddened, or we're in this spot. So I feel like when we're uncomfortable, the most uncomfortable situations are our happiest situations. So when we're in Trinidad, we're uncomfortable because we can't take long showers. They're not always hot. Our food isn't how we want it to be. It's different. Yeah, we get to go to the grocery store and stuff like that. And yeah, we get to do this and everything, but we're uncomfortable. We're in a room, we're in this hot sun, we're uncomfortable, but you don't understand how much happiness it brings.
Yeah.
Because just because you're uncomfortable, these people around you are getting uncomfortable for Jesus. So I feel like when we're comfortable, when we come home and we stay comfortable, we have to get out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because if we don't push out of our comfort zone, then how do we follow Jesus? Because I love this part people say, you think Jesus was comfortable on the cross? You say that all the time.
How have you
You
ever
say
heard
that
that from
all
a
the
wise
time.
woman?
Hey.
I would definitely say that's a boom roast.
Just saying. So, I mean, Jesus wasn't. I mean, you think the disciples were comfortable walking around, and even like I always think of the humility of Peter saying, I'm not worthy enough to be crucified like my own Savior. So he had to be crucified upside down. So it's like, do you have enough faith, as we said, to be uncomfortable for Jesus?
Yeah.
To say that no, or yes, I am a believer of Jesus. I am a believer of God. Stuff like that. Like the first martyr Stephen, just going on and on and on about these uncomfortable situations. Like these people were happy in their uncomfortability. So whether we're comfortable or uncomfortable, get uncomfortable for God.
Yeah. Because I think that like whenever other people hear you, sometimes they may think, "Oh, I wish I could do something like that." Well, you can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get
like it's
uncomfortable.
actually
Literally
like
can.
it's a possibility.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of people are the idea they say, "Oh, I wish I could." They really mean I don't really want to be that uncomfortable. So it kind of stinks that I
I'm fine in
can't
my
be.
life that I'm in, even though
Yes.
things might suck. But they don't understand the reward
Yeah.
of it. It's
And the
like
growth that
it
comes from
changes
it.
your life.
Yeah.
Just seeing the happiness in everybody, not just the happiness, but the spirit filled. Like you said, the community. Like people don't understand that these people aren't down here sad and rude to us.
Yeah.
No, they come in with welcoming arms and they love us because we love them.
Yeah.
Because he loved us first. So it's with one unity and one God, under everything, then it's just community.
Well, and I think like both of you have said that, like you respecting and honoring those cultures and realizing the sacrifices made and seeing those as gifts and what's given once they realize that you respect them and you honor them, it opens their ears to the gospel. And whenever we're training teams to go on these mission fields, it's one of the things I said, if you disrespect them, they can't hear what you have to say. So we go there with a respectful attitude, with an honoring attitude, with a curious attitude. Like, what can I learn? What can I see? What can I eat? How
Well,
does
what
this
you
feel?
also say is if you disrespect or anything, you'll have a flight home the next morning. That I am not paying for it.
I do say that, and I mean it, because we want to leave the mission field in a better place than we found it, and we can't do that by harming people or disrespecting people. And so I take that really seriously. We've worked really hard to build great relationships on these mission fields. And now they trust us enough to allow us to speak into their lives and them speak into our lives. Like we go there and receive as much as we give, sometimes more. I feel like there's no way they feel the way I feel, and feel so proud to be a part of that. And so I'm so grateful for that. And I'm grateful for both of you guys being so young and willing to go. And we can end with this question unless you guys have more to share, but I want to ask you, how do you think that going on the mission field and being with parents that have said yes to things that other people may not say yes to, how has that made you better or made you stronger as a believer?
You go first.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
You
Alana?
go first.
Okay.
I think definitely just seeing my parents yes over time. My parents saying yes to get back together. My parents saying yes to going onto a field that you've never even been on just by saying yes. Like you had no experience in mission work like at all, but you said yes. I think the yes word, saying yes to Jesus, saying yes to faith, saying yes to salvation, is just really impacted, me, because I wouldn't be here without a yes. If my parents wouldn't have said yes, then I wouldn't be here. If my parents wouldn't have said yes to going on a mission trip or anything, then I wouldn't be here. My faith could still be here, but I wouldn't be here without my parents saying yes. So I think at the end of the day that because of your yes has influenced me, but I also can't just take it for granted. And because of your yes, it's because I am yes. I can't just, almost build my faith on your faith. That I have to build my own faith by saying my own yeses. There's a line in a song called SEU Worship. It's a SEU Worship song, and it's Monday Morning Faith. It says, I want to know more than my own mother's faith. So it says, I want to go beyond my own mother's yes or my father's yes. I want to go on and learn my own yes. So I think it's good to look back at your yeses, but also find my own yeses.
Absolutely.
That's how I feel about it.
That's good. That's good. What about you?
I would say one of the things that it's grown me the most in is just being able to view God as my father and not just like the big man in the sky.
Yeah.
Like, it's really helped grow my personal relationship with him and knowing that he is there for me, and that also it's really just helped give me like bravery and courage. Like, I am capable of doing things. Like, I am capable of spreading God's word. Like, even though I'm a child or at this point, like a young adult, like a lot of times so many people like think in their minds like, oh, like that's so amazing, but like I could never do that. Like, oh, I'm too young or I'm too old or I'm a girl, like, or I'm like have a disability or I don't have enough money. But like, I think just like seeing that like it doesn't matter where you come from, how old you are, like God could use anybody. And like he could use me. Like he could use you. He could use Nelson. Like, and just like he said, just being able to say yes to him when he calls you.
Yeah.
And just being able to look at my parents and just seeing their faith grow and them drawn closer, like through that, like it has drawn me closer to God and has inspired me to build my own relationship with him. And like when things go wrong now, instead of being like, oh, like let me go to the internet, let me go to social media, like let me go to my friends, or even let me go to my parents. Like now, like when things go wrong, I'm like, okay, let me go to my father. Like, let me go to God. Like,
yeah.
You built your trust more on Jesus than your parents almost, because when we're kids, we rely on you guys a lot. But now learning to be an adult and to rely on Jesus is so much more important than, but also having your parents to fall back on. Because I feel like my parents' relationship and your parents' relationship at this point too, like we always, even when we fall, they're there to help us back up, when Jesus is too. So it's almost like this big surrounding shield almost around us, because they're always praying for us. They're always interceding.
Well, I think scripture too, it tells you like about the cloud of witnesses, and it is hard for us. Like I've had conversations with your mom recently, just because I have older kids as well in their late 20s, and the transition into adulthood wasn't always easy for parents. And learning how to be an influencer instead of being that, all in all that you are when your kids are young is a tough transition. But you hope that you've planted in them and you've shown them enough. And I know that you guys have seen things that most kids don't see and young adults don't see. And so giving them an opportunity to see that, you hope it shows them even a wider view and helps them to understand things that even maybe your friends don't even have a concept or ability to understand. Like I know when you talk about mission field, sometimes your friends are just like, wow, that's like so cool. And you're like, well, it's just my life. Like,
yeah, it's normal.
This
like,
is so normal to
part
me.
Of everyday life.
Exactly. And people will look at us even now and be like, how do you even get to go on those trips? I'm like, we just say yes. We do not have the money in our checking account. We do not have the capacity on our own. We say yes to the Lord, and he always makes a way for us. And I hope that too, like watching those models in your families has instilled that ability to say yes, like you said, no matter the limitation and what your gender is and what, if you're disabled or poor or whatever, like none of that matters. When God calls you, you say yes, and he does the making of the way.
I mean, Jacob, like he wrestled with God and hurt his like hip. but he still was found it.
Yeah, and he grew
still was
from
fine.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like even though he had this problem, or even I love it when my youth pastor talks about this. He said that his dad has cancer, and he said he prayed so long for God to heal his dad, and he prayed for so long that it would just happen, but God finally gave him an answer, and it wasn't an answer that he wanted. But he walks up to his dad and asks him, he's like, "Why are you okay with having cancer?" And he goes, "Cancer is my ministry." So having cancer, he said, I found one person in that hospital I can minister to. So by my sickness, my thing, he still said yes to Jesus and still ministered to people.
Right.
When he's dying and not in a great spot, but he's still ministering to Jesus no matter his spot. And you even think of little James and the Chosen, I think of too. He wanted to be healed so bad. He's like, Jesus, why are you healing these people but not me? Because it's your ministry. And I even think of you with your ankle, like you're like, Jesus, why can't you just take it all away? Old Frankenfoot. Why can't you just take it away? Because I honestly think it's your ministry. You went to Trinidad with a broken ankle for all those years before you even knew. But then when you knew it, you still went to Trinidad.
I did.
And that proved to people, oh, my ankle hurts or my arms hurt or something like that. Just something stupid.
Yeah.
That's an excuse that was used from the devil.
Yeah.
But you still said yes. We carried you up a hill.
You didn't like carry me.
Well, we basically had all your weight,
in.
yeah. And then we walked you down the hill and everything. Walked up flights of stairs with it.
Yes,
and
we did.
It wasn't easy.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. You were in pain.
I was.
But you still got up there and ministered to Jesus.
I did. I ministered to the people for Jesus.
And I mean, the beautiful thing of that too is by doing that, you show them like you mean more to me than my comfort.
Yeah.
Like, and in those moments, like I know, like a lot of times, like people will see that and be like, "Wow, like her Jesus must mean a lot to her if she's willing to walk on a broken ankle just so I could hear about him." Like clearly she means it, like because she's willing to push through this pain to help me.
Yeah.
And in that could honestly be a booster of faith for those people. Like clearly he means something and clearly I mean something, like that this person is willing to spread his word just so I could be saved.
Ain't nobody do it like Jesus.
Ain't nobody do it like Jesus. I think it's really funny too, because like when I said yes to that trip, I didn't really know that I was going to be like in a full boot. And
there's 3 of us on that trip.
It was only 3. Like I had all these
like,
big teams going and we had 3 people.
15 to 3 to 4 to just, man.
Yeah, and there was only 3 of us on that trip. And the crazy thing about that trip too is the church that we ended up going to there, we had never been to before. I had no idea where we were going. We went way out in the jungle to this church, and we had never been to a church that we had to park at the bottom of the mountain.
Trinidad, basically.
We had to park at the bottom of the mountain and walk up flights of stairs to get to this open air church on top of this mountain. And I was like, really, Jesus?
This hill was like loose gravel, like straight up.
It was crazy. And I was like, of all trips to have to walk up this mountain, this is the one, But like, I hope I didn't think about it that way. How you said it was so beautiful, but I wasn't thinking that way when I was there. I was just like, okay, here we go.
She got up, she propped her chair up. She sat down and then she got right back up.
Yeah, but it was crazy. And I do hope that people seen that. But I didn't know. When I said yes to that trip, I didn't know that was waiting for me. And maybe that's why God keeps it from us sometimes. But he knew
He had to humble you a little bit.
But he knew I would say yes either way. He really did, and I'm thankful for that because he's built that faith in me. And I didn't even know really that you were watching that much. So he's building your faith too, as kids watching us do that. So we hope as parents all the time, I think when we're serving God, that you guys are watching in the important moments, when we say yes, and because we don't always get it right either. But hopefully we can handle even that humbly and know when we missed it, because you guys have watched us struggle too. It's not always been easy, and the fact that you have stayed grounded in your faith despite that, and it's not been what's knocked you out, and so I'm grateful for that too. But anything else that you guys want to share about what it's done for you?
Probably like my last thing that I would have to say is just like, parents, like, don't be afraid to take your kids. Like, we don't hate it. Like, we actually don't hate it. It's actually really good for us. Like, we enjoy it. Don't be afraid to take us along. Like, you'd be surprised at how much we could grow from it as well. And then also, like, last off, like, don't be afraid to hide your struggles. Like, or not hide, like, don't be afraid to hide your struggles. Don't hide your struggles. I mean, like, it's okay, like, because even, like, what Nelson was saying, like, that moment spoke to him, even though to you, you're like, oh my gosh, like, my ankle, this sucks. Like, it helped him just being like, wow, like, look at how strong my mom is, like, still being willing to push through the pain. Like, so it's like, it's okay to show our shortcomings, because in showing our shortcomings and not being perfect, it actually helps grow other people's faith. Because I know so many times people are like, oh, it's like, I'm perfect, like, don't worry about me, everything's good, I'm fine. Like, or like, I mean, how often when people are like, how are you, do you just say, I'm good? Even if you're like just struggling. Like, I think it's okay sometimes to be like, I'm not okay, because in that, it's showing I'm human, and like, you could relate. It makes you more relatable.
I think so.
It teaches us to learn in the hardest times.
It does.
Like, I always like to revert back to you guys as parents, just like, it wasn't easy for you, and it wasn't easy for my dad. Like, it wasn't easy to get back together after everything you went through. And despite whoever it is, like, it just teaches us in the hardest times to still push through, you know, because, okay, well, if Jesus did it, and if my parents did it, then I can do it. Like, or just anybody in a motto sense, like, you know, I can do it no matter what it is. And not to be so, and like she said, it's okay to say I'm not okay. It's okay to, you know, come to your parents, just go to anyone and just say, hey, I'm not okay. Like, it's like breaking down in somebody and to show, like, you, like, I've done it to you plenty of times, because I would say I'm an emotional kid. Like, I was emotional, and I still kind of am.
Well, I love that he said was.
Was, but I still am. Like,
if I was to say was, my mom would probably throw a pillow at me and be like, yeah, right, sure, was.
Yeah, was. We like that word. But I think even like on our trip that me and you took this past year, when we went and worked with IGNAC in St. James and Trinidad, and we're literally on the airplane flying there. And I won't go into all what that was about, but Nelson literally got emotional on that airplane.
I was just listening to a song called Greater Still by Brandon Lake, and it just talks about, you met me at my lowest moment, and you saw me at my very best. And it's like, so you saw me at my highest point, Jesus, but you also saw me at my lowest. But then the next line says, my sin was deep, your love was deeper. My shame was wide, but your grace was wider. So it just kind of hit me in that instance, because at that time I just was struggling with a lot of things that I didn't come to you guys about. I hid it, and my sin was deep, but I didn't realize how much Jesus' love was deeper. So I think that hit me hard. And it's greater still.
And being on that airplane, here we are going on this mission trip, and he literally looks over at me and says, why does God love me so much? And just starts, you know, being emotional in that moment. And I'm like, whoa, like, what is this about? Because that's not as normal. And, you know, I'm sitting here in the airplane, you know, trying to comfort him on an airplane. But I knew that it was also the Holy Spirit working in him in that moment. He wanted to serve God well. And the Lord was saying, you know, hey, come closer. Let's.
You can't serve Jesus right when you're struggling in your own life. Like,
when you're keeping your struggles a secret,
at least. If you don't, it's just like the verse in Matthew that's like, why light a lamp just to put it out, or to cover it up with a cloth? Like, why hide your light so much, especially on a mission trip? So you can go there and not be okay going there, but when you get there, act okay. Then you can't really get your mission across. So you have to be as free as you can be in Jesus, and not hide things. Not cover up your life.
And that doesn't mean saying, going there, like you were saying, going there and being like, I don't have any issues, everything's great, everything's perfect. Like, it means being perfect, honest, and being humble, and admitting that I struggle, and life's not always great. And, you know, I think people really respect the honesty that comes from it, especially hearing from young people, because Nelson has opportunity every time he goes to share the gospel with these teenagers. And I always put him up there, and sometimes he doesn't necessarily want to be in front of people, but I'm like, no, they need to hear from you.
And your testimony is your strongest part.
That's
because
right.
Just because you might not struggle with what I struggle with, somebody in that room does.
Right. And it admits that there's a human problem, and it goes across all people, all countries, all places. And the minute you connect, the minute they see you differently, they see you as real.
Well, it gives them something that they could relate to.
Right.
Like, not these like crazy people that are coming like, oh, these like, oh, so perfect people. They're like, oh, like Jesus isn't for perfect people only.
Right.
Like, he's for everybody. Like,
yeah, and not like, just for white Americans that are living in the most prosperous place in the world. Like, because I think you have to tear that down oftentimes and just be like, hey, no, we're just human and we just love the Lord and we're all just struggling and trying to find our place in this world. And when they hear it out of teenagers' mouths and young people's mouths that's been through stuff too, like it matters. They hear different people hear from you guys that would hear from me. So your yeses are so important. Saying yes to whatever God called you to and wherever God called you to, whether it's with your parents or on your own mission field somewhere, because I do hope that you go to other places without me and that you pursue it and not always look through me to pursue it. I want you to go to places that you're like, I feel called to do this myself, and I think that's every Christian parent's dream. It's hard for us because, of course, we still have that parental mode of worry and concern. But when I took your brother to Trinidad to live for months, like I knew it was right. I knew like he needed to go, and so I think that growing them on that field in a foreign place, like you can just learn things there that you can't learn anywhere else. Mm-hmm. And I hope that every teenager or young person watching right now says, I need to go be uncomfortable somewhere.
Reverting back to the saying yes without your parents.
Yeah.
Like just being able to say, yeah, I'm going to go without my parents' supervision, but I'm going because this is my yes.
Yeah.
Not my parents' yes. This is my yes.
I've heard from the Lord, this is where I need to go to grow. And you go expecting to be uncomfortable, expecting to try things you've never tried before.
Expecting to sweat in areas that you're not supposed to sweat in.
Really? Yes. Okay, guys. Well, thanks so much for giving us your input. Thank you for being on Boom Roasted. And I hope this roasts everybody's excuse. Parents that are afraid to take their kids that are afraid to go. I hope it roasts everybody's excuse and they're like, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes to Jesus. And if one person says yes because they watch this, then you guys did your job. Boom Roasted did their job. So guys, say it for me. Say Boom Roasted. Just say it.
Now, say you just got roasted.
You got roasted.